This very well could be a candidate for fight of the night after it's all said and done here at AT&T Stadium in Arlington.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a fight that many people, when this was announced over a month ago, they had circled as well, because this was just a fight. Both men match up so evenly. I think last time I looked at the sports books, it was dead even pick'em fight. And that is very rare in boxing to have a pick'em fight, but that's what we have here with Stanionis and Butaev. Butaev, as we saw, broke down Jamal James late last year against Jamal James to become the regular WBA champion, and now he has the undefeated Eimantas Stanionis, who has been a rising prospect for quite some time in the PBC stable, and now he has become a rising contender. He was initially slated to fight Yordenis Ugas, and he was able to step aside to allow Ugas to fight Errol Spence, and instead he decided that he is going to fight Radzhab Butaev.
And let's take a look at yesterday's weigh-in, and they both hit the scales here in Arlington. They both look in outstanding physical shape. Miguel, you were there and saw them tip the scales. Both men know that this is going to be a physically taxing affair.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a fight that Butaev is very physical. He's not really willing to give up any real estate in the ring. And if you're against Stanionis, Stanionis is a big 147-pounder. He's someone that has really made quick work of a lot of his opponents that he has been in the ring with. And I think there's been a lot of calling for people to see Stanionis take steps up in competition. And that's exactly what he's done. And now he's taken on a guy in Butaev who is not easy, and he is very difficult opposition for Stanionis.
There is Eimantas Stanionis, trained under the guidance of Marvin Somodio. Marvin Somodio has been the chief second for Hall of Fame trainer Freddie Roach for many, many years. And Stanionis is his #1 pupil. Stanionis is looking to become the first Lithuanian to capture a world title in boxing. There's never been a Lithuanian boxing world champion. He could make that become a reality tonight. He is a 2016 Olympian. Meantime, on the opposite side, Radzhab Butaev coming off of a win over Jamal James back on October 30th. Miguel, break down what has been the last 5 fights for Radzhab Butaev. We were there during Halloween weekend when we saw him defeat Jamal James.
Yeah, credit to Jamal James, because he really took a beating. And Jamal James is a very talented welterweight, and Butaev really was able to dispose of him. He just wore him down with vicious body shots, and eventually just stopping the fight against Jamal James. Defeated Terry Chatwood via knockout, had a no contest against Alexander Vesputin, and then Silverio Ortiz won a unanimous decision, and Leonardo Tyner via TKO. So Butaev is coming in with a ton of momentum, and it definitely had to feel good for Butaev to dispose of Jamal James the way that he did, because as you said, Ray, we were both there for that fight, and Jamal James, who is a very good fighter, he made it look extremely easy.
If you like toe-to-toe fights, if you like fights that are going to be high contact and very physical, this is the fight for you. Let's take a look at the last 5 fights for Eimantas Stanionis.
Yeah, Eimantas Stanionis had a no contest against Luis Calazo with the accidental head clash in the 4th round, but he was in full control of that fight before then, and then he made an easy victory over Thomas Dulorme, Janer Gonzalez via knockout, and then Justin Deloach via knockout, and Julio Cesar Sanchez via knockout as well. So Stanionis has been active. He has been a name in this welterweight division for quite some time, a rising prospect, and now he has the biggest opportunity of his career ahead of him to fight for a world title against Butaev.
He is no doubt getting better and becomes one of those guys that he has this self-belief in himself, and he has prepared himself for this. And you look at their records, 14-0, 11 knockouts, 13-0 with 9 knockouts. They're pretty much carbon copies of each other, but I would have to say that the heavier-handed fighter happens to be with the current champion in Radzhab Butaev. Now, we say champion because everyone's probably thinking, wait a minute, aren't 3 world titles on the line? This is a secondary championship, but nonetheless, it is still a world title, be that as it may.
Absolutely. It is still an opportunity, huge opportunity for both men, because the winner of this could potentially put themselves in line to fight the Spence Ugas winner, because as we know with the sanctioning bodies, if you're holding the regular champion, and they've said, the sanctioning bodies over the last year and a half or so, they said they want to kind of gear towards getting away from the regular title holders and unify those divisions and making it just one champion in the sense of per sanctioning body. And that's one thing the WBA has said, that we want to get rid of our regular titles, and their plan is to, as they said earlier, had a welterweight tournament, but obviously Stanionis stepped aside for Ugas to fight Spence. But after that, we'll see if they force the winner of this to fight the winner of Spence Ugas.
I think we're going to get a compelling matchup, and if you like violent affairs, this one is going to be extremely physical and violent, unless it is something that I haven't seen, because my goodness, Miguel, both guys love to come to the center of the ring and throw heavy leather.
Absolutely. This is a fight that, many people are saying potentially could steal the show tonight with Butaev and Stanionis, because both are action-packed fighters. Both are willing to trade toe-to-toe in the center of the ring. Stanionis, I think, has a little bit more better of a boxing IQ, I'd say. He's willing to outbox his opponents. And now that Butaev is in there, he's willing to fight any style. But Ray, tail of the tape, what do you see?
Let's take a look at the numbers between Eimantas Stanionis and Radzhab Butaev. What stands out to me is the height and the reach advantage. They're relatively close in age. Both men undefeated. As I mentioned, it's like looking into a mirror against one another. 14-11 knockouts for Butaev. 13-0 with 9 knockouts for the contender, the Lithuanian Olympian in Eimantas Stanionis. And the rules, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. The fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. And a fight is official after 4 rounds have been completed. So here is our ring announcer to get the action started, because it is going to be sheer pandemonium. Here's Jimmy.
Well, fans, as we approach this World Championship attraction, we extend a special welcome to the brave men and women serving around the world and joining us tonight on AFN, the American Forces Network. Ladies and gentlemen, from AT&T Stadium here in Arlington, Texas, Premier Boxing Champions presents the SHOWTIME Championship Boxing featured attraction of the evening. This bout is sanctioned by the WBA. The president, Gilberto Jesus Mendoza. Supervisor in attendance is Julio Time. This is along with the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. The chairman is Rick Figueroa. Our judges scoring from ringside: from Texas, Javier Alvarez; from Nevada, Robert Hoyle; and from Puerto Rico, Jose Roberto Torres. Our referee in charge, he will be giving instructions after the introductions, Rafael Ramos. All right, fans, here we go with the SHOWTIME Championship Boxing main event of the evening. A battle of undefeateds, 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Welterweight Championship of the World. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys, it's SHOWTIME! On my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black velvet trunks with baby blue trim. Hailing from Kaunas, Lithuania, he weighed in at 146 1/2 pounds. A 2016 Olympian, he is undefeated in the professional ranks with a record of 13 wins, no losses, 1 no decision, with 9 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, making his first attempt at a world title, here's the challenger, the current WBA #1 welterweight contender, introducing the undefeated Eimantas Stanionis. And his opponent across the ring, the defending world champion, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with gray trim, fighting out of Indio, California, by way of Khasavyurt, Dagestan, Russia. He weighed in at 146 1/2 pounds. His record stands at 14 wins, no losses, 1 no contest, with 11 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, making the first defense of his world title, here is the defending WBA welterweight world champion, introducing Radzhab No Mercy Butaev. And once again, a referee in charge now to give instructions. 12 rounds of boxing. We have Rafael Ramos.
After you receive a pre-fight instruction, protect yourself, obey my command, give me a clean fight, no punches behind the head, watch your head coming in. Let's go, let's do it.
Oh, that's right. Let's do it. This has been on my calendar, this particular fight, Butaev and Stanionis. If you love prize fighting and two guys that come from similar regions of the world, well, then lo and behold, look at this one. As Butaev's from Russia, Stanionis from Lithuania, expect this one to be a tremendous battle.
And these are two fighters, Ray, that are very familiar with each other, picking up things 10 years after they fought for a second time in the amateurs. Both fights in the amateurs went towards Butaev on points, but both very close, and obviously both have grown a ton in those 10 years since then.
This is the most shredded that I've ever seen Stanionis, and Butaev looks to be in significantly better shape than that of when he fought Jamal James. And not to say that he was in bad shape whatsoever, because he was in great shape, but it just goes to show you the magnitude of this fight because of what they know that they're up against on the other side.
Butaev certainly will try to bully his way on Stanionis, but as we said, Stanionis in tremendous shape, a big fighter. And Stanionis said in the Jamal James fight, when he was watching it, he felt that Jamal James tired out. And that's where Butaev was able to take advantage. He felt that Jamal James was fighting a really good fight and won several rounds, but the fact that he tired down the stretch because of the pressure Butaev applied on him, he wasn't able to last throughout the entire fight, and said he believes his cardio and his conditioning is way better than Jamal James. And there's a great body shot from Stanionis that hurt Butaev there.
Butaev looking to respond back, but I find it to be interesting that at least in the first minute or the first half of this round, it is Stanionis who is the one coming forward trying to put Butaev on his back foot. So will that be the case throughout the period of the fight?
I think Stanionis already looks tremendous. He's using a jab. That jab is snapping a lot to Butaev, and that's one way to stop that pressure that Butaev likes to apply to his opposition. And then he's also going down to the body. And that's one thing I really like so far that I'm seeing with Stanionis.
But Butaev is heavy-handed and likes to wear you down over the course of time.
A lot of people thought, you know, it was such an even contest. It was going to come down to whose chin is going to hold up throughout this entire fight.
Good stiff jab by Stanionis. Under a minute to go here in the first.
I really love that jab. That jab is working extremely well for Stanionis.
It's like a piston-like jab for Eimantas, and sharp punches, a shot behind the head as Rafael Ramos warns Butaev. That was inadvertent, mind you. Double jab by Stanionis.
Just amazing. And that honestly, we've seen fighters win entire fights just off their jab.
Just ask the Klitschko's. They were reigning supreme in the heavyweight division for over a decade. Both of them, Vitaly and Vladimir. I mean, that was one of their primary weapons of choice. Final moments of the first.
Fantastic round for Stanionis. I think that was a really, really nice opening round to kind of establish things against Butaev.
That ends the first.
Переднюю руку и сиди пониже, не выпрямляйся, понял?
Radzhab, just keep moving your head. He throws a jab straight, just move to the sides and counter, okay?
Нас ты все видишь, успеваешь смещаться с линии, понял? Живот работает идеально, понял?
Body's working really well.
Передняя и солнышко работает, все работает. Но не застаивайся перед ним, понял? Просто не застаивайся. Легкое смещение за переднюю руку, понял?
Keep working the body. Work on top. Jab, jab, 1, 2, and then body. Hey, when you work the body right here, you come right here. When you go here, and then move to your right. Let's go. Keep moving to your right.
Спокойно.
Now we're coming up on round 2. This one's scheduled for 12, and Miguel was very impressed by Eimantas Stanionis coming out with that jab that he was throwing with such frequency and stopping the forward pressure of Radzhab Butaev, the champion.
Yeah, I think it surprised Butaev a bit. I thought he felt Stanionis was going to ease his way into this fight, but Stanionis brought the fight immediately to Butaev.
Now Butaev is trying to get off a little bit easier and quicker here in this second round.
And I think right now, Stanionis is trying to show Butaev, like, hey, I am not afraid of you. I'm not going to back down. I'm willing to stand here in the center of the ring. And if you think you're going to bully me and use your physicality on me, you're going to have to adjust your game plan, because that's not going to work on me tonight.
Stanionis is one of those guys that just loves combat. He enjoys being in that ring and going after it with an opponent. And I think Butaev is the perfect dance partner for him. And likewise, for Butaev, not many people can withstand his pressure. They wilt under that pressure over the course of time if they don't do it in the initial going.
Absolutely. That's what we saw with Jamal James, who, you know, has been in really good fights and is a good fighter himself, and he wilted because the pressure was just too much from Butaev. And again, it is not easy when a fighter is consistently using their physicality in your face all the time, heavy-handed, and that's one thing a lot of fighters struggle against. And so far, Stanionis is handling it very well.
Butaev looking to set himself up. Nice left hook there by the champion. Goes to the body of Stanionis.
Good right hand from Stanionis. And everything's working well off the jab for Stanionis, because when the jab is working, you can really open things up.
Good left hook that clipped Stanionis.
And that's one thing, Butaev, you know, he's there to be hit. It's not like he's got tremendous defense. Jamal James was able to tag him a few times. He just has a very good chin and is willing to stand in the center of the ring. He's just relying on his mental pressure and physical pressure to eventually wear you down.
Overhand right for Stanionis that caught the left ear of Butaev.
Short left hook from Stanionis that was able to get on the inside. And again, Stanionis is just consistently busy.
Stanionis is seeming to beat Butaev to the punch. Butaev is loading up, and Stanionis is just letting his punches go in a short time frame. And distance-wise, sharp, short punches. That's what Marvin Somodio continues to drill into the head of Eimantas Stanionis, and it's working. I love how he has his elbows tight, and he's always in a position to throw.
That's one of the things about Stanionis that may have the advantage over Butaev, is the technical aspect of boxing. Stanionis has down to a T.
Doesn't take him long to unload. We're headed to the third. We're on our way to the third. Jabs landed, thrown through to Butaev, 5 of 64 for a 7% connect percentage. Stanionis triple that, 16 of 63 for a 25% connect percentage in the jab department. So going back to your point, Miguel.
So far, especially in the opening seconds of each round, Stanionis makes it a point to come out and establish the center of the ring and throw the first punch. And it hasn't landed in a few rounds, but again, it just shows the mentality that Stanionis has right now, that he is trying to turn the tables on Butaev and apply that pressure himself.
Well, it just goes to tell Butaev, look, I'm going to be here all night long. I'm not going away. You're going to have to really do something to get me to back down. And so far, Butaev has not done anything significant to make Stanionis think about coming forward.
Butaev has missed quite a few shots thus far, but Stanionis, just like I said, just so technical, very compact. His defense is great, and that big right hand just went through the defense of Butaev right there.
You pointed out about being compact. 2 right hands that were just sharp punches that got through the guard of Butaev, and another one smashing through that left cheek of Butaev. Another one, 4 right hands by Stanionis, and then he unloads a combination. But back comes Butaev.
Butaev starting to be a little bit more active here in the 3rd round. He realizes that Stanionis has so far gotten the better of him, and he is looking to answer.
A right hook to the body. I like what Butaev is doing, though. It's still early. Attack the body of Stanionis. Make him bring those arms down. And how do you do that? By pounding away on the body like a baseball bat.
Absolutely. That, like you said, we're still in round 3. By the 10th and 11th round, those body shots can have an effect. It had an effect on Jamal James, and it very well could have an effect on Stanionis if Butaev continues to focus in on the body.
Well, if you remember in the fight against Jamal James, his guard came down, and then Butaev was able to throw those overhand rights that went crashing into his face, thus doing a significant amount of damage to Jamal James back on October 30th.
But obviously Stanionis right now seems to be a different beast with his jab just snapping. And right now that's been the best punch of the fight so far for either fighter, is the jab of Stanionis.
What an excellent fight through the first couple rounds. And the action is only picking up. Both men throw with such bad intentions, Miguel. This is no such thing as flicking off the jab. Everything that they throw has bad intentions written behind it.
And there's a big right hand that both men connected on.
I think Stanionis got wobbled for a brief moment, but then was able to recover.
He almost smiled because he knew, he was like, okay, that was the first shot that, you know, it woke me up a bit.
Like a cup of coffee that I need in the morning to be able to wake up. Here is some of the action from the 3rd round. Look at this. They were just continuing to hammer away and pound on each other. Total power punches landed, thrown through 3. Butaev, 29 of 77 for a 37% connect percentage. Stanionis, 24 of 55 for a 43% connect percentage. So that just goes to show you, Miguel, how close they are when it comes to the power punches thrown and landed. Butaev being the busier of the two, Stanionis being the more accurate out of the two.
Absolutely, and I think that 3rd round should give a little bit more confidence to Butaev, because it seemed, like you said, his right hand did seem to hurt Stanionis. And we said this fight very well could come down to whose chin's going to hold up.
Well, Stanionis got certainly caught a couple of shots from Butaev, and he kind of liked it. Now Butaev is starting to pick up the pace. I see more aggression from the champion.
He's really starting to press Stanionis more. But Stanionis, again, not giving too much ground, and that jab still working its way through.
What's crazy is that when these guys hit each other, especially to the body, it's like they're pounding away on the heavy bag, and that is not normal. Stanionis using that sneaky jab as we're coming up on the midway point of our 4th round.
Don't push it down. Okay, let's go.
Rafael Ramos warning about putting your head down. Double jab by Stanionis.
Butaev not moving his head whatsoever. It's just can staying there, and Stanionis is saying, okay, you're going to give it to me. I'm going to continue popping this jab at you.
Yeah, if you're serving your head up on a silver platter, I have no problem hitting you with the jab, snapping your head back like a Pez dispenser.
And Butaev, you know, like I said, he's not the most technical fighter. He relies on a lot of his just brute power, his physicality, and the pressure. that's where he's able to wear his opposition down.
Undoubtedly. Stanionis has this, he is aggressive, but it is aggression behind fundamentals. And you look at him rip into the body, you're probably thinking, okay, he really isn't too technical. No, on the opposite side, he is very technical because he's doubling up on his jab. He's using his distance well.
I will say, I think one aspect that is really working for Butaev is those body shots. You can really start to see Stanionis shrink just a bit with every one of those body shots. It is starting to land and connect and affect Stanionis, and we're still in round 4.
Well, we'll see what happens as we endeavor into round 5 and beyond. Radzhab Butaev, Eimantas Stanionis, to the 5th we go.
Hey, good job. You already got his timing already. You already got his timing. You just need to work on it. A little more boom, boom, boom. A little more volume of punches, right? Come on, Radzhab.
Ты его расталкиваешь, все идет идеально, понял? Снова сейчас пробил ему корпус хорошо.
How you feeling? Good? Hey, you're good. Radzhab, hey, you're a warrior, baby. Let's go. Finish this guy. Come on. You already got him already. You dialed him in already. Yeah, body hurting him.
Он не знает, что делает. Понял? Ты его прочитал, у тебя все получается. У тебя в рюкзаке в 100 раз больше приемов, чем у него, понимаешь?
Let's go, champ. Let's go.
Класс,
Don't give him a chance. Let's go. This is your night, baby. Don't let him look good. Let's go.
Слышишь меня? Собрано и внимательно.
Let's go, Radzhab. Finish him.
Joel Diaz, the trainer of Radzhab Butaev, believes that they are in a great position. They feel like they are getting the best of Eimantas Stanionis. Miguel, you pointed out in the 4th round about the body punching of Butaev. Well, body punches landed. Butaev 30, Stanionis just 9.
So Stanionis focusing in on the head while Butaev is going to work on the body.
I think that body work is going to serve Butaev well, especially as we get into the middle portion of the fight. Already starting to see it here in the first half of the fight.
I was just going to say, if you look at the entire left side of Stanionis, you can see it all marked up and very red. And if Butaev continues to focus in on the body, it may start to open things up for Stanionis. But again, Stanionis so far isn't appearing to affect him. I'm sure he's feeling it. But right now, he is putting on a very good poker face and is continuing to fight his style.
Well, there are these little battles inside the ring aside from the big battle, right? So there was a moment a couple minutes ago, not a couple minutes, a couple seconds ago, where Butaev came forward and Stanionis came to try to hold his ground. He's literally right, they're pretty much forehead to forehead with each other because Stanionis does not want to take a step backwards. This is compelling stuff here at AT&T Stadium as we are getting into the midway point of the 5th.
I will say that the chin seems to be a little better with Butaev. He has taken a lot of shots, but he is so far hasn't really winced at all with any of the shots from Stanionis. It's certainly scoring points for Stanionis. And there's that left hand that threw Butaev off balance. Whereas Butaev, when he is connected, it seems to have knocked Stanionis back a bit and affect him.
Well, there's a reason why Butaev has the higher knockout percentage over Stanionis. Stanionis relies more on being busier, and Butaev has the bigger, more authoritative shots. Not to say that Stanionis cannot crack.
No, he certainly can. And right now, if this goes to the judges' scorecards, the judges may think that, you know, Stanionis is landing at a higher clip.
Watch your head. Let's go.
But I will say Butaev is coming on. I mean, I think this fight is getting close.
Absolutely. These are very close rounds. They're tough rounds, especially the last 2.
I would hate to be a judge for this particular fight.
And Stanionis, it seems like he's starting to get a little bit of a cut underneath the left eye. I'd have to take a look at it again, but it's certainly red around that area.
Final moments of the 5th. Double left hook by Stanionis as we head towards round number 6.
Чорний, це вдячний Кейрейн.
Getting ready for round 6. This one is scheduled for 12. The champion Radzhab Butaev and the challenger Eimantas Stanionis. Power punch-wise, here is how it goes. Butaev, 55 of 145 for a 38% connect percentage. Stanionis, 48 of 106 for a 45% connect percentage. So Stanionis being more selective, Butaev just emptying out and really going for it.
And Butaev right now switched to southpaw. And there's a nice left hook from Stanionis. It appears every time Butaev connects on something significant on Stanionis, Stanionis makes it a point to deliver 2 to 3 shots right after.
Well, it could be the mindset of, I need to get this back. Oh, there's blood somewhere. There is blood on the right shoulder of Butaev. Probably there might be a cut that has opened up on Stanionis. We cannot see it from our particular vantage point as of right now. I think it might have been from the clash of heads. I could be wrong, though. And now Butaev walking back one, Eimantas Stanionis. And Stanionis looks at him like, come on, let me go, ref. I love this fight. What a big left hook there by Stanionis. Now look at Butaev push off, shrug off Stanionis. When have you ever seen that in an Eimantas Stanionis fight?
It's absolutely difficult. It just shows how evenly matched both of these men are. I mean, it is an extremely difficult fight. And once again, Rafael Ramos separates them.
Left hook connecting for Stanionis, but back comes Butaev. But there's a right hand that buckled the knees of Butaev.
And there's another punch off the clinch, and you saw that little smile from Stanionis, almost as if to say, hey, I love it. Let's keep it going.
I believe the blood is coming from the nose of Eimantas Stanionis, so that is my guess at the moment. This is what Stanionis has craved his entire career. I want a guy that's not going to go away, and I want it for everything. Well, theoretically, this is for everything he's fought for, because this is for a world title.
There's another left hook, and that left hook's been finding a home for Stanionis. He has landed it 3 or 4 times here in this round.
What we are witnessing here is pure savagery. They are just pounding away on each other.
And I think Stanionis is really getting the better here of Butaev, and this is the first sign where it appears Butaev has been affected by a lot of these shots from Stanionis.
Well, you can't see the punches coming, the problem. He's in the pocket, and he's getting lit up with 2 or 3 punches at a time, and he'll deliver 1 or 2, but still. What is the second half going to bring?
And both of these men with the long look at the center of the ring. I love it.
Here's some of the action we get from the round.
And there's the body shot of Stanionis and Butaev with some body work of his own. And there you saw the blood coming from the shoulder, from the nose of Stanionis. But Stanionis looked really well in this fight. And this is the first time where his power punches seem to have an effect on Butaev.
And now, as we start off the 7th round, jabs here in the fight. You see that Butaev 11 of 177 for a connect percentage of just 6%. Stanionis far more accurate, 43 of 152 for a 28% connect percentage jab-wise.
That left hook has been working really well for Stanionis now. First it was the jab, and now it has started to open up the left hook.
Butaev plodding forward, a right hook to the body by Butaev. Double jab by Stanionis.
And now Stanionis going to the body, and I'd love to see him add that here in the second half of this fight if he's starting to target the body. That gives Butaev so much more to think about. And now Butaev with a little bit of, would you say, gamesmanship, trying to rough Stanionis up a bit.
Double jab there by Stanionis. Now Stanionis continues to try to back up Butaev.
And I think this is the first time I've seen Butaev fight backwards. He is on the ropes, and Stanionis, that's a sign that Stanionis is really starting to come on and build his momentum.
You know what that also tells me, Miguel, is that I think Butaev is probably thinking, let me go to plan B. Let me invite him into me and see if I can find some openings, because it's not working. My plan A is not working right now over the course of time.
Absolutely, and I think that's very well an option as well too, because Butaev typically he expects his opponents by this point, the 6th, 7th round, to wilt under the pressure, and eventually he's able to take control. By this point in his last fight against Jamal James, he was in full control.
Yeah, it was almost to the point in that fight where we were thinking, hey, you can stop it at any point here. But right now, he's the one who's in trouble. Not physical trouble, but at least on the scorecards.
Absolutely, and Stanionis, once again, is just continuing to answer every bell and every option that Butaev is delivering to him.
Now, is Stanionis a one-punch knockout artiste? No. Does he have blazing speed? No. But he's tough. He's got great fundamentals, and he just keeps coming forward. And he hurts you enough that if you're in the ring with him over the course of a 10-12 round fight, he can do some significant damage to you physically.
I was just going to say, I think he's got enough power in his hands to bother you. And I think that's what's happening against Butaev, is he's respecting Stanionis' power now.
And there's a right hand over the top. If you look at Butaev's face, he's probably thinking like, this guy's not going anywhere. What do I have to do? As we see the fans filing in here at AT&T Stadium later tonight, our main event, it'll be none other than Errol Spence Jr. matching up against your Dennis Ugas. Round 7, punches landed thrown. Butaev 14 of 59 for a 23% connect percentage. Meantime for Stanionis 22 of 56 for a 39% connect percentage. And Stanionis going right back on the attack, as now there is blood, I believe, above the hairline of Stanionis.
Keep it up.
And I think Butaev now is trying to find the second gear, and you're starting to see him, I think, get frustrated as you see Rafael Ramos continue to warn Butaev about the forearms and the pushing the head down. That, to me, is a sign that Butaev is slightly frustrated with the way this fight is going thus far. And now he is starting to use some of these tactics to bother and halt the momentum of Stanionis.
Well, Stanionis has got, I think, some cuts underneath his eyes, but... And Rafael Ramos warning Butaev about pushing the head down, because you pointed out, Miguel, that the frustration is beginning to mount for the champion in Radzhab Butaev.
No punches. Let's go.
And now Stanionis looking at referee Rafael Ramos as he was punched off the break there.
Well, they are certainly getting chippy, is what I would say, inside the ring. And you know what? It doesn't surprise me, because we're at the midway point of the fight, and we're coming up on that final third to go with so much on the line.
And I'm really starting to see some of these tactics. Butaev is really making it a point here in round 8, and I think if this continues, Rafael Ramos is going to have to warn Butaev.
Also, the fact that I think Butaev, being the veteran that he is, he's trying to throw off and disrupt the rhythm of Stanionis. Stanionis is into a rhythm. Butaev really hasn't been able to get into a rhythm throughout an extended period of time throughout the fight.
Absolutely. I think this is one of those options where it's like, okay, I had a game plan A, and right now game plan A didn't work. I go to game plan B, now that's not working. Now I need to unload game plan C. People may not like it, but this is the tactics of I am going to have to muck it up now.
Yeah, push the head down, do things that are borderline illegal, but not necessarily illegal.
Absolutely, and you see Stanionis, that he was frustrated there. And there's some shots to the body as Butaev seems to have bothered Stanionis here in round 8 with all of these tactics now.
And I think if you're Butaev, you got to be thinking, listen, this isn't necessarily winning me rounds, but if it's frustrating him and getting him to fight emotionally, then that's a win as I get into the 9th.
Absolutely. And I think Stanionis certainly has been affected by a lot of these tactics, as now Stanionis is really getting thrown off of his game as he nearly was pushed down.
He's finished, baby. What do you want? Hey, Radzhab, he's finished. All you need to do is work. Okay, here. Let me work this. Let me work this. Hold on. Hold on, Balin. I need this. He's finished, Radzhab. He's finished.
Listen to me. Don't push the head, okay? I don't want to take a point of this, okay?
Sit down too. Wait. Come on, Radzhab. Radzhab, you need to win the rest of the round, Radzhab. You need to win the rest of the round, Radzhab. The fight is close. The fight is close, baby. Fight is close. Let's go, chat. Finish up.
Back.
On to round number 9. Total jabs thrown and landed, thrown through 8. Butaev 17 of 224, a 7% connect percentage. Stanionis 57 of 202, a 28% connect percentage in the jab department, as ringside observers have Stanionis ahead by a comfortable margin, 79-73.
Stanionis, though, certainly seems more affected by the shots. You see the swelling on the right side of his face. He's cut on the left side of his face, has blood dripping from the nose. So you wouldn't, it doesn't appear that Stanionis would be ahead on the scorecards, but it's certainly been effective. And Butaev, as we know, has tough skin, and he has just been consistently pressing forward, although he may be losing this fight.
It's why Joel Diaz, the trainer Butaev, has to say he's finished. You gotta go. They want him to start to really put together big power punches and try to physically outlast Eimantas Stanionis.
There's a knot now, it appears, and that might have been from a headbutt earlier in the fight above the forehead of Stanionis.
Both men's faces are looking worse for wear compared to what they entered this ring. And I'll be honest, coming into this fight, Miguel, you and I both talked about it, and it has been known around boxing circles that it is likely that both men are going to walk outside of the ring and look like they've been thrown through a windshield in a car accident because of the physicality that they both bring to the table.
Absolutely, and it's been starting from the get-go. There was no feeling out round, and there was a big body shot from Butaev, but Stanionis right there answered with a huge right hand.
These guys are built from a different cloth. As we have 70 seconds to go here in the 9th. If you aren't entertaining and enjoying this, then I don't know what to tell you. Check your pulse.
Listen to me.
Under a minute to go. You even see Rafael Ramos has got blood on his referee shirt.
Yeah, he's going to have to change that up.
And send it to the dry cleaners. I don't even know if that'll work. Body work by Radzhab Butaev. Stanionis keeps coming forward.
And you can tell Stanionis just kind of takes some of these shots. He holds it in, tries to deflect as much as he can, and then explodes with 2 to 3 shots.
Beautiful left hook to the body by Stanionis. Miguel, these two guys have been fighting in a phone booth, and what that might be, millennials are asking, well, you had to go to a telephone booth to be able to make a call because cell phones weren't in existence in the late 80s, early 90s. They're not around as much.
There's another left hook from Stanionis.
Gotta love a phone booth fight.
And it certainly has been a phone booth fight, and I don't think we expected anything less, and it certainly surpassed our expectations already when we heard this fight was made.
Well, here's a request. Can I have some more? We got 3 more rounds on the way.
Come on, Radzhab, you need to work a little more, okay? Championship rounds, Championship rounds. Championship rounds, Radzhab. He's tired, he's dead, let's go. Let's go.
Round 10, this one is scheduled for 12. We have been treated to an absolute barn burner between these two combatants in the champion, Radzhab Butaev and Eimantas Stanionis. Total punches landed, thrown through 9. Butaev, 112 of 524 for a 21% connect percentage. Stanionis, 169 of 462 for a 36% connect percentage. Miguel, what was your observations from the 9th round?
I thought Butaev is now leaning on some of those tactics and trying to wear down Stanionis. I think it has affected Stanionis a bit because his pace did slow down a bit in that 9th round, but there you see him trying to pick it up, and that could have just been a factor of, all right, I need to regather myself for these final 3 rounds. I may have to give this round away to Butaev.
A sneaky right hand getting through the guard of Butaev as they both continue to hammer away upon each other. Neither man taking a step backwards at the moment.
And there's a big right hand.
That staggered Butaev. But Butaev got staggered, and then he was able to gain his balance within a second. Tremendous stuff.
We know he's got an excellent chin. I mean, it takes the kitchen sink and more to knock out Butaev. Jamal James hit him with a lot of flush shots in their fight, and he really couldn't do much to move Butaev off of his point. Stanionis, we've seen, knock him down with several big-time shots, but Butaev still standing right there, even though it may throw him off balance from time to time.
He's not going anywhere, neither is Stanionis. Stanionis landing more, and he's the more accurate of the two.
Yeah, as you see, he's blocking a lot of these shots right now from Butaev, and there's that right hand.
He was like a cobra. He waited for his moment, and then he struck immediately. Throwing with venomous-like intentions is Eimantas Stanionis, both men for that matter. Under a minute left here in the 10th.
As we said, these are the championship rounds that will separate both men. And there's another jab that Butaev walked right into.
Right hand connecting for Stanionis. Butaev, I like how he's a free puncher, meaning he gets a lot of leverage behind his punches because he's so athletic and mobile.
And I think, Stanionis has really tightened up the defense here. He hasn't taken as much punishment to the body over the last couple of rounds that he had earlier in the fight.
Final stages of the 10th.
And there's another right hand that staggered Butaev a bit.
Radzhab, 2 more rounds. This guy's finished, come on.
Keep it clean, keep it clean. Let's go, steady.
Чистый, продолжай чистый бой, понял? Чистый бой.
Radzhab, he's finished. You need to work a little more. Come on.
Все получается. Все делает. Понял? Понял?
Radzhab, come on. Hey, let's go. You need to work. Hey, fight close. Come on.
Championship rounds we go. Eimantas Stanionis looking to become the first Lithuanian to capture a world title in boxing. Radzhab Butaev looking to hold on to his championship. Both men are undefeated. Someone so is got to go. To the 11th we go.
We've seen Stanionis go the distance before. He is undefeated. And there's a beautiful combination, especially sneaking up that uppercut on Butaev.
What I'm curious to see is Butaev going to gamble a little bit? Is he going to fight with a sense of urgency that would lend us to believe that he's down on the scorecards as we believe here at ringside?
That's the exact word I had in mind for Butaev as well, urgency. He needs to be urgent in this 11th and the final round in order to give himself a shot at potentially stealing this one from Stanionis, because right now, in my eyes, Stanionis has controlled this fight and has looked and gotten the better of Butaev.
Stanionis came in, he knew what he had to do in order to beat this guy. And it's one thing to plan for it, and it's one thing to physically execute it, and he looks sensational.
Absolutely, and you can tell Stanionis is not just resting on maybe some of the rounds that he's already won. He is looking to make a statement.
With his eyes swelling at that, Miguel, I mean, let's be honest, we're looking at him right now here at ringside. Both of his eyes are swelling considerably.
And just the attitude that he has shown throughout this fight at several exchanges, even when Butaev would try to exploit some of the dirty tactics, Stanionis always ends it with a smile.
Well, you talk about those dirty tactics, that right in the back of the head, but I got to tell you, Stanionis has one of the best cut men in the business in Mike Rodriguez. Can you imagine if he didn't have Mike in his corner to try to lessen some of that swelling?
Absolutely, and that's a loss on Butaev because Mike Rodriguez also works with Butaev.
Look at this. Oh, big shot there by Butaev. Butaev might think that he has Stanionis hurt, and this could be an opportunity for him to seize.
And now Stanionis backing up.
This is the most weary leg that I've seen Stanionis. Time being called. Uh-oh. Point deduction. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
I don't mind the point deduction. I know there's some booing right now, but Butaev, that's the risk you take when you want to exploit some of these tactics. He's done it a lot, especially more so in the second half of this fight, and it's been apparent.
Let's talk about when it really started transpiring in the 8th, Miguel, and he warned him 2 or 3 times. I said, oh my goodness, not because I was against it, because that's a significant moment in the fight. That only adds to the lead of Stanionis, and that could be significant. Theoretically, that might have clinched Stanionis the world title if he stays upright in the 12th.
Absolutely, and this was a round that Butaev was actually looking really good in.
He had Stanionis weary, and now Stanionis just lit up Butaev. What a fight.
And there's a left hand that stunned Butaev here.
Tremendous stuff. What an absolute battle.
Good job. Radzhab, last round, let's go. Last round, Radzhab, come on.
Here we see some of the highlights. That was the point deduction as Butaev was leaning on the back of the head of Stanionis while continuing to batter his body. And Rafael Ramos saw it immediately and said enough was enough.
The point deduction is significant because that might as well have clinched the fight As we see, Eimantas Stanionis, Radzhab Butaev, the welterweight championship of the world is on the line. Will Stanionis become the first Lithuanian to capture a world title in boxing, or will Radzhab Butaev retain his championship? What a war that we've had here at AT&T Stadium here in Arlington, Miguel.
Absolutely, this has been a tremendous action from both men, but Stanionis has proved a lot of doubters wrong, and people wondered, would he be able to stand with the physicality of Butaev, and he has answered all of those questions, and now he seems to be one round away from becoming a world champion.
Well, it has been with a resounding yes, and now we are seeing none other than Radzhab Butaev go at it. They continue to hammer away upon one another. Butaev needs something big, Miguel.
Yeah, he certainly does, and I think he has tried and exhausted all options thus far on Stanionis, and I think right now he just has to rely on possibly catching him with the shot, but right now Stanionis still continuing to press Butaev.
Well, Stanionis does not want to leave any doubt in the minds of the judges.
And there's a left hook again that connected for Stanionis.
Talk about being major. This is a moment if you are Eimantas Stanionis.
And this may be the fight that will elevate Stanionis. And there's a big left hand that appeared to knock Stanionis back a bit.
I think this is the kind of fight, as we're over the halfway mark of the final round, where it sort of introduces Eimantas Stanionis to the masses. We knew that he was really good, but this is the fight to say, guess what, ladies and gentlemen, I have arrived and I got the gold to prove it.
Absolutely, a new player in the welterweight division, and a huge right hand.
Oh my goodness.
Stanionis with the left hook.
Stanionis might have Butaev hurt, but Stanionis continues, Butaev swinging wildly and throwing like we have a gunfight at the OK Corral, for crying out loud.
Both men exhausted, and Butaev, I don't know how he's standing. He took two massive right hands, followed with the left hook, and he is still on his feet.
Listen, he still has bullets in the proverbial chamber, and he threw heavy leather. Regardless of if he relinquishes his title, I want to see Butaev again.
Nobody, I'll tell you this, nobody wants to fight Butaev after this.
Not with a performance like this. And this is theoretically that Stanionis will likely be the winner. And he looks like he's been in a tremendous battle. Look at this.
Another left hand that landed for Stanionis, a right hook. What a chin Butaev has.
He almost went into the front row. Could this be the coronation for Eimantas Stanionis? What a fight here at AT&T Stadium. And I got to tell you, Miguel, that is going to be hard to top when it comes to fight of the night. That is the leader in the clubhouse.
Absolute brutality from both men. And we said it was going to be brutal, but it surpassed expectations that we had for this fight coming into it.
I would hate to follow that.
I'll tell you what, Ray, this might be the type of fight, if you're Stanionis, that in his mind, it's one thing that you believe you can do it, but once you actually do it and get through a fighter like Butaev, you may have it in your mind now that there's nobody that can beat me. Because if I can fight this style, not many fighters, not many championship fighters can fight this style. If you can fight against this style and win, there's no other fighter that you're probably going to be afraid of.
Well, when you deal with a guy like that is so possessed in Radzhab Butaev, and you beat him in the kind of physical fashion that you do, and again, the judges' scorecards have yet to be rendered, so let's be cautious about that, but I think that Stanionis won that fight. Tremendous battle.
What a fight from both men, and this certainly, to me, is Stanionis' best performance that he's ever shown, and I've seen a majority of Stanionis' fights throughout his career, and this is the best he's ever looked.
Unquestionably, because of we watched him grow and graduate, and this was likely his coronation. What a fight. Both men should be treated and applauded for their efforts here tonight in Arlington. And now we set up to our ring announcer. Here is Jimmy Lennon Jr.
That's all I wanted. Thank you. Thank you. Because the other guys get me shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we have a split decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Javier Alvarez scores about 114 to 113 in favor of Radzhab Butaev. Judge Roberto Torres scores the action 116 to 111 in favor of Eimantas Stanionis. And judge at ringside, Robert Hoyle, sees it 117 to 110 in favor of the winner and the new WBA welterweight champion of the world, Eimantas Stanionis.
So history is made here tonight as Eimantas Stanionis becomes the new welterweight champion of the world and is the first Lithuanian to capture a world title, a split decision win over Radzhab Butaev on what very well could be the fight of the night.
Absolutely, what a performance from Stanionis. Split decision. When I heard that, I was like, excuse me? Because I thought Stanionis did more than enough to come out victorious, but nonetheless, at the end of the day, they got it right.